Welcome to Truth Speaks. This is interview number 1. I'm Miranda Squires, and I run the Lotus Center in St. John's, Newfoundland. And the Lotus Center is a center for yoga, lifestyle activities, meditation and yoga, and also a training center for yoga and meditation. I do a lot of retreats and workshops and basically empowerment and all kinds of stuff that help a person grow spiritually. And I've also been doing the Wisdom Wednesdays, which is videos that are maybe between 5 and 15 minutes and just tidbits of wisdom. And I've been recently thinking about starting a new series of videos where now I will be interviewing people about their wisdom. And so this is called Truth Speaks, and my first interviewee is my sister, Esther Squires. And Esther and I, we grew up in the Fairyland Lighthouse, and we have in common Gerald Squires, famous Newfoundland artist who recently passed in 2015. So some of you may know of Gerald Squires. And so this is a real opportunity, I feel, to be able to share this spirituality with my sister, and also to hear her experiences in the realm of spiritual development. So the first question I would like to ask my sister Esther is, tell us how you got interested in truth.
Yeah, well, that's a good question because, in a way, because you went to India and you were always looking for something that I guess was deeper than the usual everyday experience. So that had a big effect on me. You went to India, you lived in an ashram, and I tend to kind of follow you around. So there was always a very light, easy thing going on with me. Yeah, like I can relate to what she is talking about. Like that feels comfortable. So and I've always been the kind of person that I'm willing to let go of my ego to find out what's really going on. Like I don't really want to stand up to my point, even though I might be suffering in that. I'd rather drop the ego and experience what the truth of it might be. So I guess that's sort of where I started, and then I got invited to this EI.
Right. Yes. So I've been giving Enlightenment Intensives since 2006 or something, and I do them myself. I'm a participant in these Enlightenment Intensives. My main facilitator that I go to, a master, Murray Kennedy, he came to Newfoundland last summer in 2019, and he offered the first 7-day Enlightenment Intensive with his crowd. And so Esther came along for the first time to an Enlightenment Intensive. So tell us about that experience for you.
Okay, and I'll back up a little bit because, so what was going on in early 2018, actually in January, I decided that it was time, because of my age, I'm in the second half of my life, that is really time to start living in a way that could be free from fear. So fear has always been my number one obstacle. So actually, I joined a Toastmasters group, which was the first thing, and I had no clue where this was going to take me. I just thought, I just need to practice being in front of people and realizing that fear is not as big as I think it is. So I joined this Toastmasters group. I've been going for 2 years, and I noticed that the fear started to diminish a little bit. But what I guess I didn't realize was that it was taking me on a big journey. So I went to the EI mostly because I'm on this kind of journey where I want to do things that are good for me, that are going to make me become free and not feel so small in myself. So I joined the EI with not a clue on how this was going to pan out. I just figured the EI will at least help me clear some stuff that I was feeling stuck in, you know, like, because that's all. I've done dyads before, and that's kind of what would happen, is you could clear out stuff.
Right.
So that was what I was anticipating, to clear out a bit of stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
So what happened?
So, I mean, it was quite a process. The first couple of days, it was, you think you're just talking about.
The question is, tell me who you are, right?
Yeah. So my question that was given to me was, tell me who you are. I had all kinds of preconceived ideas of who I was, but I knew by the question itself that it had to be deeper than who I think I am. I'm Esther Squires, 55 years old, grew up in a lighthouse. I'm shy. I'm not as confident as most people. It's just the way I was born. I have no control over that. So, I started getting into, by speaking to other people, my dyad partners, I started getting into expressing some of the main points that came up, like, I guess you would call them traumas that came up over the years, that kind of popped up for me, that really made me feel like I'm not a whole person, They affected me in such a deep way that I thought, so I'm married to an academic. I had many situations that happened that made me realize I'm not an academic, and to be married to one was embarrassing for me in the face of all these other academics. So I didn't know who I was, and I felt almost ashamed that I wasn't an academic. So that was a big one for me. So so I got into talking about these things, and just feeling, there were so many different, because we were dyadding from 7:30 or 6:30 in the morning to 9:30 at night. There were so many different opportunities to sort of get into stuff.
And I'll just interrupt for a moment, just for the viewers here, that there's a process in the Enlightenment Intensive. And first of all, usually people just, when they're given the instruction, tell me who you are, they will just sort of talk about all the things they think they are, or they've been told they are, or so I hear now this is the process that you are going through. You're emptying all of those, what I will call now, false ideas of who you are. So, but there's more stages, and so let's hear what happened after that.
So I'll just express when everything sort of came to light for me. So I guess I'll talk about, I thought I had dealt with the grief of my father.
Very good.
And I really thought I dealt with it. And I was feeling actually at this point that I wasn't grieving. But what happened was, during the EI, we have these kind of dance, I'm not sure what they're called, movement exercises. And Murray put on a Bach cello piece. Now this Bach cello piece that he put on was actually the piece that I put on when my father was dying.
Oh dear, got a few tears.
Yeah. And I knew that my father liked Bach, but I didn't know which one. So I was just on my iPad, and I just put one on, and it actually was a really violent Bach piece.
Yes,
And
I remember.
Remember? Yeah. And so anyways, when the piece came on, oh my God, it was like, I was devastated. I went right back into being in that room with him and grieving through that process, and feeling like, God, the violence of this piece was as violent as his death was. He's, the suffering that he went through in the last few days of his life. So I was just sobbing. I couldn't stop, and I just sobbed, and I probably sobbed for 3 hours, so much. And then we went straight into dyads, and I started expressing to my dyad partner what had happened to me, and it was so powerful that he started to sob. So the two of us are like immersed in this soup of sadness, right? Mm-hmm. And then Patsy came by, and she just sort of tapped him lightly on the shoulder and said, "This is not your experience, this is another's." And anyway, cleared the air so that he got clear, and then I was able to communicate. And funnily enough, I spoke with Murray later about that, and he said, he said, "I heard about that Bach piece." He said, "But here's something." He said, "I never play that Bach piece." He's been doing this for like 40 years, and he has this music series that he does. He said, "I don't know how that Bach piece got on there." And so I thought, oh, okay, all right, I'm getting it. And then I felt the presence of my father. Like I thought, okay, he's now playing into this. And the feeling that I got was that I hadn't dealt enough with my grief. And it was like, if I wanted to really get everything out of this EI, I was going to have to process that grief.
Right.
Yes.
That's exactly what this work does, is it opens up the areas that are still unfinished business.
Yeah.
And then if you've got the bravery, which is the context of the Enlightenment Intensive supports you to go through the process. So, and you just took the jump and you decided to do that.
I took the leap of faith, and then I had another situation with another dyad partner who she said she was experiencing my father, and he was there speaking to her, saying things like, she's so beautiful, she's so fluid, she's so, like just saying all these things about me in that dyad or just in the situation. Look how beautiful she is in expressing what her truth is. That was the message that came through to this other dyad partner. So it was like I really felt like, oh my gosh, I'm really being held in this. So like, I cannot hold anything back. I'm just going to have to go for it.
Right.
So then later on, I don't know how this all happened time-wise, but another person in the room let out a scream at a certain point, because everybody's processing stuff and it's different for everybody.
Yeah.
But the scream that she let out, and that's why I think it's important for all of us to be in the same room, because it's just one big flow of energy and communication, and what's happening for another person is valuable for me.
Very good.
Yeah. So she lets out this scream, which I couldn't let out. She screamed for me, and when she screamed, I swear to God, it was like everything in me felt that deeply, and it was as if I screamed. And it was this release of attachment to my my ideas, my perceptions, and like a relief to just like surrender. And then after, there was another person that said at the very end of the dyads, "I don't want to surrender." And then I just yelled spontaneously, "I want to surrender." And when that happened, it was like I just flipped. I flipped, and the bottom fell out of me.
Okay.
And it was like, you want to surrender? You're going to surrender. And it's like, what's actually surrendering? What's actually surrendering? And I realized that, it's just like when you're so tired of being a certain way and holding yourself in a certain way all the time, it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. Yeah. And it's almost comes from, it does almost feel like a desperation. I'm done. Like, I'm done with this because it's not working for me. And when I surrendered, it was like, almost felt like everything emptied out. Everything. My mind was eclipsed. My ego just went, okay, I've had it. I'm done with you.
Okay.
And like I said, the bottom fell out, and I didn't know who I was. Like, it was so tangible in a certain way, like, because everything changed. My vision, everything. I had this pulsating thing going on in my head, and I have to say, my mind kind of freaked out. And
Okay.
so I went straight to Murray. He knew something was happening, because he could see it. I mean,
Right.
you can see it when someone's when a
When
shift happens.
there's a shift happening.
You
yeah.
can see it. So he came running right over, and I said, Murray, am I going crazy? Like, has one of my synapses snapped? And he said, no, you're going the opposite of crazy. So it was that which said, okay, I have complete trust in these people. They've been doing this for a long time.
Mhm.
So that was my first experience in the EI, that ever in my life have I ever felt anything like that. So I went to my tent, and I couldn't sleep the whole night. This pulsating thing in my head was just like,
Yeah, so I wanted to hear more about that because when there's a shift starting to take place, the Kundalini energy, which is stored generally reserved at the base of the spine, it starts to move up through the body, and everybody will have a different way of experiencing it. So the shift was taking place after the surrender.
mm-hmm.
So you had to surrender. What exactly were you surrendering? Do you know?
You know, I was just surrendering the Esther I thought I was.
Okay.
And it wasn't out of, I don't like you, I want to get rid of you. I didn't even know what I was doing. All I knew was I was processing stuff. And then the next thing I know, this surrendering, it was a natural kind of spontaneous thing. I didn't say in my head, I must surrender. It was
No.
nothing like that. I had no clue what the hell was going on, except that obviously through processing this stuff and just being open and having that question, tell me who you are,
Yeah.
was like an invitation to know the truth.
Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very good.
So I went to my tent, and I was like, what the hell, you know? And I just, I had no mind. Not only did I not have a mind, I mean, my mind was there, but it wasn't bugging me.
Yeah, so when you
Yeah.
say mind, you don't have the chit chat or
Yeah, there was nothing trying to make something out of it. It was just like, oh my God.
It's like you've blown a fuse.
Yes,
That
awe, bewilderment, but not only that, the sense of fearlessness, the sense of peace, the sense that everything is perfect. And not only is everything perfect, but everything is exactly as it should be. And this did not come from my intellect. This
No.
was my experience. This is what I felt deep, deep inside me.
So if I ask you, tell me who you are, what would you say in relation to this experience or coming from this experience?
Well, it came about in a kind of I am not. And I know in India they call it neti neti.
Yeah.
I am not my mind, I'm not my thoughts, I'm not my perceptions, I am not my fear, I'm not my guilt, I'm not my shame.
Yeah.
So the process of clearing out was I am not these things. So then it was sort of like I actually am not these things. I'm not these things. So then when the question came, it didn't come from my intellect.
No.
It came from the place, the source of truth of what I am.
Right.
Which is I am the source. I am the truth. I am consciousness. I am unity.
Right. And those words didn't come to you. They're coming now.
They're coming now.
Yeah.
I couldn't process that at that point.
No.
But what I do know that happened to me was that I went out for a contemplation walk, which is part of the whole EI. You get to go for a little walk 2 or 3 times a day. And I just noticed that there was no projection coming from me anymore as to what I was looking at. So the trees that I was looking at before were just the trees. The flowers were neither beautiful nor flowy nor nothing like that. They were just the flowers.
Right.
The sky was just the sky, and everything appeared as it was. And I was seeing how, oh my God, you know, like I'm the one that puts the beauty on everything.
Very good.
So then, so that was my first walk, and I was like looking at this beautiful little frog pond that's out by at the Tree of Life, and how earlier I had seen it was beautiful and everything, but now I just saw it exactly as it was. And I mean, you can call that beauty if you want, but you can call it whatever you want, but I actually saw it for what it was.
And so the difference would be before you would maybe look at the pond and not see the pond, or?
Yeah, I'd be like, my idea is that, oh, it's a beautiful pond, or, you know, the trees are beautiful, the flowers are gorgeous. And yeah, that does come from within, but there's a kind of like putting that on it, you know, like,
Right.
So I guess what I'm trying to say is that when I went out for my next walk, I decided, it was because you could kind of play with this when you're in that space, right? I decided that I'm going to see everything with beauty now, so I'm going to open my heart.
Okay.
And so, wow, the flowers were purple, like a purple I've never seen before. And the glistening on the pond was magic, like mirrors, just, you know. So it was sort of like, and then I realized, my God, how much. So if I'm angry, I'm not going to see the beauty in the flowers, right? Or if I'm sad, I'm not going to see the beauty in the flowers as much.
That's an overlay, or it's
just
occupying the mind waves so much that you can't actually, because it's in the way of what you see.
Yeah.
So all that was gone. So you could actually.
I could actually see things for what it was, and I could actually play with opening my heart.
Right, you were at that place where you could actually play with it.
Do things, you know. It was pretty wild.
I call that being at the source, because when you're at the source, then all kinds of potentials and possibilities.
Yeah, and I had no clue what the potentials were. All I knew was I was in this space, and even walking was like, I didn't feel like I was walking into the world. I felt the world was in me, and I was walking with it, you know. Like, I felt like this Muslim cloth, or this sort of cheesecloth, where the consciousness was actually flowing through me, you know, and the world was not separate from me. It was all part of me. I mean, and that can sound so new agey and hokey pokey, you know, but that was my experience, you know.
What kind of words can we use?
That's the thing. English,
and the words
the language,
are never going to match that.
Never going to match it. What words can do is they can point you in the direction. They can't really.
And they can inspire you. They can put your attention on there. But
and the words came later. I was just swimming in it at that point, because it was the first time anything like that had ever happened.
Right. So tell us what happened after your experience. So the shift took place. Were there a couple more things that happened on that retreat that are worth talking about?
Nothing is, I mean, I'm sure there was lots of things that happened, but so this is a big one. So one of my intentions before the retreat was to have a better relationship with my mother, because I felt there was a barrier, and I kind of just put it up to daughter-mother stuff, the complexities of family. So, and I didn't like it. I didn't like not having a good connection with my mom. So I just put it out there. I didn't even really think anything about it. And as a matter of fact, she didn't even play into the whole thing, right? It was after. So when we were allowed to use our cell phones, the first person I called was my mother. Because my mother is also, she's been meditating since she was like a child practically, and this is also her path. So, and I never connected with her on that. So this was a new kind of connection. So when I left the EI, I drove straight to her. Like, that was everything in me wanted to go and express to her. And I sat at the table with her and looked at her like it was the first time I ever saw her. And I looked at her without any preconceptions of who I thought she was, and she was beautiful. Like, I was like, oh my God, my mother is so gorgeous, and I never saw it. Other people say it all the time, but you know, I had so many preconceived ideas. So I just, you know, I told her the whole thing, and she was 100% there with me. It wasn't something that I had to explain in any way. She totally got my nuances and everything that I experienced. And then I apologized to her for projecting all the things that I projected onto her for all these years that actually created the block with her.
Wow, beautiful.
Yeah.
So you saw your part.
I saw
in
my
the whole
part.
thing.
Absolutely. You know, there's always your part. If there's something that happens in your life, in your world, that's creating a separation, you got to look at yourself.
Right.
You don't go pointing at other people. The only place to find that answer is within yourself.
Very good.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So since then it's been just fantastic. You know, we got
So you
this
have a whole new relationship.
whole relationship with her, and you know, even if that's all I got out of the EI, that would have been
worth it.
worth it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, as I understand, there were a few more sort of consecutive experiences that happened, and so now that was in July, and this is February. So
I had 4 more
experiences. So yeah, go ahead, tell us.
Yeah. So the second one was I guess I was processing the whole thing, and I had I had a lot of questions coming from my mind at this point, because I think I spent 2 months in that kind of realm of just being one with everything, that sense that.
Now that, by the way, is quite precious, because people can have direct experiences, but they might just last a day or, even just a couple of hours. But it's really special when it can actually continue for a long time.
Yeah.
So tell us about that.
So then while this is going on, there's still questions coming from my mind, like, what is it all about? I'm not, I'm trying to process it. And so this one day I received a letter from Murray, because we were writing each other back and forth a lot during these months. And he just sent me 2 pictures, one of Ramana Maharishi and Amma. Mm-hmm. And it's just, these are the 2 pictures that he has in his little meditation room, and it's just their eyes. And I just spent like 5 minutes just spontaneously just staring at their eyes, because I knew that they were in a special place, and so I was looking at them. And then I went to my cushion, and I was looking at the tree outside my back window, and I noticed that I was concentrating not on the leaves or the tree, but between the leaves. Like my eyes were going to where the blue space was between the leaves, and I wasn't looking at the birds, I was looking at where they had flown past,
Beautiful, yes.
And then I just was overwhelmed by that, just by that openness that I saw in the eyes, and just sort of that connection that I felt so intensely with between the spaces of things. And I just spontaneously bowed down. I didn't even know I was bowing, but I just put my hands like this, and I fell onto the floor. And when I got up, the tears were streaming down my face. I wasn't even crying, like it wasn't coming from me. And it felt like grace, it felt like rain just like descended on me and gave me another glimpse.
Okay.
And suddenly I had that same, well, I would say this is the first time that I noticed it so specifically, that sort of pop and shift, where I'm seeing from a place of no ego, no mind.
Okay, so there was another shift. So you shifted into the no ego state.
Yeah, again.
But it was a physical...
It was definitely physical. It was like, I don't like to call it enlightenment, because that has a whole thing around it. Yeah. I like to just call it a shift in perspective. Yeah. And it's so simple and so clean and so right. That's what it felt like. So again, it was like, and this one lasted, I don't know, it probably lasted 3 or 4 hours. Okay. That sensation of things falling, and then just being purely there in that space.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was an experience of bowing, and the bowing just came. So your body went into the bowing position, but not from your idea.
Not from any idea, nothing like that.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. So tell us about maybe another
Yeah.
experience you
So
had.
on the third one,
So now the first one was how many months? Was it a couple
of
months?
months, yeah. So
Okay.
that was in August, September, October, and then I was really, just grappling with, okay, oh yes, this idea of I want to go back to that place.
Oh yeah, that
Right?
happens a lot.
Yeah, and
I want
I'm
to go back to the place that was so beautiful.
It was so beautiful,
Yeah.
and I'm realizing that you're already in that place that's so beautiful. It's really a surrender. It's all about surrendering.
Yeah, it's about letting go.
Letting go, and as long as I'm reaching for, I want that, as if it's outside of me.
Very good. Yeah.
So, and that was my thing that I was really dealing with, like, and then this whole thing of, seeing these eyes of these people that live, that are already in that space all the time, just opened up something in me.
Yeah, it's a possibility.
Yeah.
That's what these people represent.
Yeah,
Is now
yeah.
an opportunity for
Yeah.
us to live in that all the time as
Yeah.
well.
I mean, and you're also like, this was not me before the EI. These are not things that I did. I did not practice meditation. I tried. I didn't go to all your things that you had.
Yeah.
I didn't. This was
Yeah.
not. I
Yeah.
have a child, a family, and I'm living my life the best I can. But it was just, I came up against something at a certain point in my life, and I thought, I got to deal with this, or I'm gonna die with this feeling inside me of
Right.
being half a person.
Right.
I'm just, it's not good enough.
Right.
So that's the impetus that made me continue. And then of course, once I had this shift, it was like, okay, I must be on the right track, because things are changing. Like, I always thought, nah, you are what you are, you can't change your personality.
Mm.
But things were shifting. My fears were dropping.
Yeah.
Like, that was the big one for me. I couldn't sit and do an interview. Are
Right.
you kidding me?
Right.
No way.
Mm-hmm.
So then the third one
Mm-hmm.
came because several people that I knew, women and men, had lost their sons. There were 4 deaths in 2 months, and not related, just like 4 deaths of young men. They were from their like 20 to 30
Mm-hmm.
years old, and so I'd been dealing with that and feeling the pain. And on this one particular day, a friend stopped my car as I was driving, and she said, did you hear so-and-so lost their son last night? And the pain that came into me,
Mm-hmm.
it was just phenomenal. I was in this state of like, how do you process that? And feeling empathy for these women. How do you process it?
Yeah.
And knowing that I'm only feeling like an iota of what they
Mhm.
must be feeling. And I just, in a way, I felt like I need to feel what they're feeling,
Yes.
and I have my own son. So, like, do you think that didn't
Yeah.
affect me deeply? It was really painful. So, again, I go to my cushion. This is where all of them happen, on my cushion.
Cushion. Beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just sat there, and I was just like, I was expressing, like I was speaking, like, how can this happen? How can this happen? Why does this have to happen? Like, what is that all about? And my mind was, like, trying to grab onto something. And then suddenly, right out of, like, it was almost like from the sky, came these words to me: I do not own my thoughts. They do not belong to me. And I thought, well, that's weird. What's that? But it was not just the words that came. It was again the experiential thing that came, and it was again grace. And when I received it, I was like, oh my God, thank you, thank you, thank you. Like, because I was feeling the grace. And then what came after that was that it didn't take the the fact that these boys all died, it didn't belittle that at all. What it said to me was, you have an idea of what you think death is.
Mm-hmm.
and it has nothing to do with what death is.
Okay, so a thought is actually not the truth.
No.
You're just thinking about it.
I'm thinking about it, and my
belief.
heart was aching, and that's all fine that I was feeling that pain. Why not? You know, that's the truth of it. But the message was that you don't know. A mind cannot know what death is.
Yes.
And as long as you stay in your mind about it, you're going to suffer. And suffering is different from grieving.
Yeah.
Suffering is different.
Yeah,
Grieving is
that's
natural,
true.
and it's beautiful, and we should grieve, and we should be there for each other.
Yes.
But this kind of thought, the truth came in and said, you don't know what death is. And you don't, and not only do you not know what death is, but what you think is not even relevant. Like it's not relevant to the truth of what death is.
Yeah. Yeah.
But and it's not even your fault that you think this.
Wow, you got a lot of insights
Yeah,
all
I
in
got
that
a
one.
lot of insights into
So
that.
one was, what was the first one?
It's like you don't own your own thoughts.
You're not. Yeah. So the thoughts
are not who I am.
Not who you are.
And they don't belong to you.
They don't belong to you.
And that but that's not a big deal, because it's as being a human, that's what you got to deal with, right?
Right. So they come through you.
They come
but they're
through
not,
you, but they're not the truth.
They're not the truth.
So and with the grace that descended on me again, because it again experiential, like there's you don't go, oh, did I just receive some grace? It's sort of like it's not like that. It's like the whole everything just opens up, and you're receiving it. You know it.
Yeah.
It's like
you know
rain.
You can't. You know. No one can try to deny that.
No.
for you.
No.
Yeah,
You know when you're
there, it's there.
experiencing it is there, and
Yeah.
I often feel like, well, maybe that feeling that I get in my head and in my eyes is just a reminder saying, see, when you shift. So you're shifting, right?
Yeah.
It's almost like it's trying to
Don't
tell.
forget.
Don't forget.
Here I am. Yeah.
So yeah, that was pretty.
So that was the one with the deaths of your friend's sons.
Yeah, and so the ultimate, I guess, grace. The expression was that we are deathless.
Okay.
Right.
Very good.
Yeah. The truth of existence, the truth of our existence, does not hold death.
Very good. So the thought, like, so when you were thinking about the death and feeling it.
Yeah, I'm feeling the pain. Yeah.
What you got when that all blew out was there actually isn't any death.
There's no death. Like it's just a flow through. So yeah, the person isn't there anymore, but they are. You know, they actually are. Their body may not be there, but they are there because it's
in the same way we're here and we're still here, even though there might be a body, but you take the body, there's still
the source is not the body.
That's what you're saying.
That's
what
came to me. The
you,
source is not the body. You know, everything dies.
Right.
Everything ends.
Yeah.
You know.
But the source is always continuous throughout everything.
Yeah.
Good. Excellent. Was there anything other experience that you had?
Well, there were two more after that.
Okay,
so
well, let's hear them.
Get into them.
Yeah.
So the fourth one came because I was going through a tumultuous time dealing with, because this is all new landscape, new territory for me, and I was trying to express it with my husband.
Right.
And it's hard, you know, like expressing in a new place, and you do feel like a different person.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's
your expression
difficult.
has changed, right? So it wasn't going smoothly. I couldn't express myself very well with him, and I'm not saying anything against him. I couldn't express myself very well with him.
Okay, so what was it? He felt like a block, or what?
Well,
what
I think
was that?
whatever it was for him, I can't speak for him, but
I mean, for you, he was a block for you, or what was
well,
it
no,
that
what
he
I
was
felt,
in a different state, or?
I wanted to express to him, but I was feeling that he couldn't receive it, and I couldn't be heard by him, because he thought it was new agey and preachy.
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So fine, whatever. So
yeah, so that's
we had an argument, and I was so hurt, and felt my normal way of dealing with that is I kind of get hurt and I shut down.
Mm-hmm.
So that happened,
Okay.
and I thought, wow, in the face of all this amazing transformations, what the hell's going on here? I'm
Right.
feeling shut down, and this went on for days. And he actually apologized to me, and he said, you should be able to be yourself. He's a good man,
Yeah.
but I couldn't hear him. I was still angry, and I was coming from this place of anger and hurt and feeling vulnerable. So, I got on a Skype with Murray, and we did a dyad about, he tried this new one on me called Just Be.
Mm-hmm.
So the direction was just be. And for 5 minutes, I would allow myself to be in that state of whatever I was feeling and just be in it. And I noticed the more the dyads went on, the more, because I was allowing myself to be there, the more I just, it started to dissolve a little bit.
Okay.
And then he sent me a beautiful writing on support by Almas.
Okay.
And I read that, and it was all, I intellectualized the whole thing and thought about it and everything. And then that night I had one of those dreams where my world is falling apart. Like the building was coming down. There was an earthquake. And it happened at the EI too. Very similar dream where the building is coming down and there's helicopters crashing in front of me. And I'm trying
Symbolic.
to save myself.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, at the end of the dream, everything's crashed around me, but I'm fine.
Oh.
So, and this was the same dream I had at the EI before my big awakening.
Okay.
So I woke up, I went to my cushion, and I just sat there and just, just be. I was in a state of just being. And then again, it's almost like, you're just kind of there. Your mind is descended. It's leaving you alone. Your ego, you feel tender. You feel like you've been kind of beat up a bit by yourself. And then again, like this wild awakening came, and it said that the support comes from within. But not only does it come from within, like I don't need the support of anything outside myself. Not only, you can have your support within, but what this message was that, how can you hang on when you're being held up by everything? There's nothing to hang on to.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
So
That's
you were
what-
experiencing being held.
Being held by grace, by just being. There was,
You didn't have
I
to
didn't
grab
have to
or
grab
hang on. Yeah.
No. And it was
Very good.
so exhilarating that I got in my car. I went, wow. And again, that thing, my
The-
eyes, the feeling in my
energy.
head, the energy, I was just flying. And I went out to our mother's house in Holyrood. And I said, oh my God, I got to tell you about what's going on. And I was in it when I was talking to her, which was really fun. And it was good for her because she's been dealing with, I was going to be moving to Montreal and you were going to India, and she was feeling lack of support herself because we're her support system, right?
Right.
And I just looked at her and I said, oh my God, the support, you are your own support. Like your
Beautiful.
truth is your own support.
There's
you don't
nothing
need.
like someone speaking to you when they're in
In
that
it,
state.
yeah.
Oh my God, it's just nothing
Yeah,
more
I
beautiful
know.
because it just, the
Yeah.
transference,
Yeah.
it transfers right
That's
over
right.
and you start to experience it yourself.
And so I said to her, I said, like how I feel right now, everyone could die. I would be fine. I said, I don't want everyone to die, but everyone could, and I would be fine. That's how powerful it was, that feeling of being held. Like, it was wild. That one lasted about 12 hours. And then when I woke up the next morning, the sensations, the experiential part was gone, but I still felt the lightness and the joy of, and then I realized, oh my God, my husband's my main support, because without him, pushing me and saying, no, I'm not going to support you in your weakness, right?
Yeah, right.
not that needing support from someone is a needy thing. It's not. But when you're in this kind of place where you just want the truth of it, you know,
Yeah.
I don't need to be mirrored. I don't need to be held up by other people saying, oh, you're great, or you're this, or you're that, or I'm here for you. That's fine. But the person or the I that I am does not need that.
Right.
And when I'm in direct access of that I experience that.
Very good.
So it just shows me again, by the grace of God, you know,
Right.
what you can do when you look within, when
Right.
you go within.
So I'm now interested. So you've had, I don't know, 4 or something experiences after the direct enlightenment. So something got opened up inside of you, and it's just been kind of
it's just been
flowing out. And God knows if you're going to have another flow.
who knows
How that happens.
Yeah, I don't know.
For some people that happens, and for some people it doesn't happen. So it's whatever your particular soul is going through. But I'm now curious about how you are living your life and the state of mind you are. What are you doing for your personal, outside of these experiences? How is that for you? What's arising for you?
Outside of these experiences,
your
I
daily life.
guess now, like, I'm just not filled with an anxiety of what I think I need to be. Like, I always thought, my God, you know, like, I'm this age, and what have I become? What have I done? You know, I've done lots of things, but nothing was ever good enough, you know? So it was sort of like, well, you want this sort of personality or something, or you think you got to have something, and we're always reaching for that next thing that we think is going to make us better or bigger or whatever. But all that's dropped away, so I've got no desire to, like, it's not coming from the wrong place anymore. Like, I'm not good enough, so I better go take that course, or I better go study at the university.
So I improve myself somehow.
Yeah, I'm so comfortable with who I am that doesn't even play in anymore.
Very good.
It doesn't play in at all. So now I spend my time just being in the company of others, and I do meditate a lot because I love it.
Yeah. So now the meditation is not coming from I should, it's more coming from because I want
love
to.
it.
I love
It's
it.
beautiful. It's beautiful, and it's not separate from even me being up washing the dishes, but it's just a time to kind of chill out and experience
Be with the
that
truth.
Yeah, and so another big thing, just to kind of finish.
Yeah, you had one more experience.
Yeah, and it kind of lines up with this idea of who I think I am. So we moved to Montreal for we're here for 6 months, and so there was kind of this transition. We moved from St. John's, and so the last one was about
you were sick.
yes, I got
like
the
that.
flu after I got here for 2 weeks, and it took the stuffing right out of me. And I just didn't have the energy to do anything. And here I'm new in Montreal. I want to go out and experience things and do things, but it wasn't happening. So this one day when I thought, okay, it's got to be over, I got out of bed and walked my son to school, and then came back and just went to bed. And I was starting to feel kind of depressed now, right? So I'm lying there, and I'm thinking, well, I'm going to just lie here. So I put on one of the, I like to listen to Rupert Spira, who's beautiful. So I put him on my headphones, and I laid in bed, and I was kind of just sort of drifting in and out. It wasn't sleep so much, and he was doing this guided meditation of bringing emptiness into your being, through all the different parts of your body, and filling it with emptiness so that everything comes out, and it's all sort of clear, and everything's empty. And it's kind of just, it's this meditation technique that he does to kind of clear us of stuff that we're holding on to. So I was doing it, and I noticed how easy it was for me, because I already felt empty from being sick.
Right.
And at this point, I was completely surrendered. I thought, I will just lie in bed. I don't even care anymore, right? So I'm listening to him, and then suddenly something lifts, and I feel it. And I'm going, oh, something's happening here. And honest to God, it was like this metal shackle that had been tied to my neck and my head from this flu just went right away from me. The flu left me. And I thought, okay, I've got the energy to actually go sit, because I knew from listening to people that you should sit in a meditation pose instead of lying down so the energy can move, right?
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, I'm going to go sit in the living room. And I sat there, and then this whole movie played out. And I wasn't finding it. It found me. And the movie was me, how I see myself.
Okay, so you're watching you.
I'm watching me interacting with my son, my husband, sick in bed. And it's really a movie. Like, it's not just my imagination. I'm watching a movie. So I'm seeing me in my big winter coat and my glasses and my kind of sick face. And it's not pretty. Like, I'm thinking there's this little old lady walking her son to school. And I'm seeing it. I'm feeling how I see myself. I'm actually feeling it. And I see myself interacting with my husband. I don't like it. It's not pleasant to look at. And me lying there sick, it's not pleasant to look at. And then suddenly, again, it's this grace comes down, and it says to me, you see how you put yourself in a box? And this is how you perceive yourself. If you perceive yourself this way, then this is how you shall be.
Okay.
And it just lifted off me, and I went, oh my God. And then the next scene of the movie was me going into this dark room and opening the blinds and getting rid of the dark furniture, this dark room that I'd kind of put myself for years, this projection of myself.
It's a projection. Right?
Yeah.
That's the dark room, is the projection.
Yeah. And then it just like, and you get this energy, right?
Yeah.
I'm not who I think I am. Oh my God, I'm not who I think I am. I'm not that little old lady walking her son to school.
Yeah, I'm so much more.
I'm so much more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And not in an egotistical way.
No.
Like in a really beautiful, pure, unassuming way that we all should be.
Yeah.
You know, and we all have.
Yeah.
We all are that.
Yeah.
There's no difference between me or the person that's walking down the street. Absolutely not. And the beautiful thing about grace, when it comes, is that it is a kind of egoless place. Yeah. There's no way your ego can get involved in that.
No, it's not the creation of the ego at all.
And it doesn't make you feel better than anyone or more special. It just sort of like opens the eyes and says, wow, this is not what I thought it was. My eyes are open.
Yeah.
Finally, after decades of being asleep, I'm awake.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
All right. So we're coming to the end of our interview now. So I'd like to ask you one last question. What kind of wisdom or truth that you'd be able to pass on to our viewers who are, seeking the truth and at this point might be envious of your experience, and maybe have had trouble, entering into these beautiful states. So what would you have to say? What can you offer?
Well, I can firstly say that I did not enter into these states. So it's and I can even go so far as saying they're not states.
Okay.
They're just you call it grace. I don't know what else to call it. But to just like never give up, because the thing that is searching, like the thing that is searching, is how to say it. The thing that is awake is not the thing that is searching.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So the thing that is awake is not the thing that is searching. So if you feel like you're tired and you're still searching, like don't worry about it. Surrender it a little bit and just have faith, because the thing that wakes up is not the thing that is striving.
Striving, yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we need to let go of the striving so that we can be open to.
Yeah. And that doesn't mean you don't do what you want to do, like and meditate or take your classes. But don't, it's even harsh to say don't. It,
Finding words.
yeah, finding the words. It's sort of more like have faith that you're going to be where you need to be.
Yeah, because you are.
Because you are. You're right here now, and you're.
Whatever is unfolding, and
yeah,
there's a
and you
perfection
need
in
to
that.
be where you are.
Right.
You need to be where you are. Like I noticed that with the awakenings, it was like everything was perfect, whereas 2 hours ago everything was not perfect.
Exactly.
But,
and that's usually
yeah.
what happens before the shift takes place.
Mhm.
You're really, really with the thing you don't want to be with.
Yeah.
You know, the
Yeah.
thing you've been resisting your whole life, but you are totally experiencing it.
Yeah.
And then there's something in that as you go through the
Yeah.
very thing you resist the
Yes.
most. That's
That's a
needed.
good point. Do not resist.
Mhm.
Go through that painful place. What is the worst that can happen to you? It's an inside job. What is the worst thing that can happen to you?
Yeah.
Go to the place that scares you the most, and you will be so surprised.
Yeah.
That energy of that fear or that whatever it is you're afraid to go into will transform
Yes.
into a different energy.
Right.
Because it's just energy. The fear is energy.
Yeah, and it's just a projection.
It's just a projection, and you watch. If you go fearlessly, even fearfully,
Yeah.
but you just go into it,
Mhm.
it's gonna dissolve.
gonna
It
dissolve.
has to. There's no other place for it to go.
Wow. Well, maybe this is how we'll end our interview, our first interview of Truth Speaks with Esther Squires, my sister. And I want to thank you, Esther. This has been very enlightening and very inspiring, and I know our viewers are going to be very intrigued and really appreciate. Is there any way that if somebody's really interested and they'd like to speak to you, what can they do? How can they contact
Well,
you?
they can just contact you, and you can.
Okay.
Yeah.
So go ahead. Go on to the lotuscenter.ca. And you can send me a message, and I can pass it on to Esther.
Oh, I'm
if that's
happy
how
to
you-
talk to anybody. This,
Yeah.
it's like it's really wonderful.
Yeah, and this
Yeah.
is what happens when we enter into these states. Is we just feel like we want to share it because
Yeah.
it belongs to everybody.
It belongs to everybody. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you very much, and thank you for viewing Truth Speaks,
Thank you.
interview number 1, and Esther Squires.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Okay.